Hi, I'm Michael Carr with Michael Carr Design, and I want to welcome you to the Southern Living magazine's Idea House. I was very honored and privileged when I got the call from Southern Living magazine. Wanted me to provide the planters for indoor and outside for their fabulous Idea House. I'm happy that they recognized all the things I've done over 20 years that built up this reputation for trend setting, creativity, designing immaculate product and such, that they would put it in this type of program. I remember back several weeks ago when I brought, I think, five different full pallets, I think 80-something pots for inside and out, and I looked and I said, holy cow, what a project. So I came back a couple of weeks later when we had the plants, and the team with Southern Living and Hatcliffe Construction, who built the home, and myself, we got to work and spent more than a day just putting all of these different collections together that matches with the pots. And I'm really, really happy with the way everything looks in this whole project. When I started Michael Carr Designs many years ago, I studied the market a little bit, wanted to see where things were sitting and where to go with it. And I knew right away I had to be unique and different, or I was just going to be a flash in the pan, a race to the bottom, see who could be cheaper. I don't want to be that. What I did is I studied trends, I looked at colors, I looked at designs. I looked way past years and years ago designs, and I'm trying to develop where it may go in the future. But I had to do that to kind of stand out in a sea of a bunch of vendors that just sell pots. I've got a 400-page catalog now of thousands and thousands of products and designs and colors. But I put it on myself to create new, about 40% of that catalog every year. I treat this business, the pottery and planter business, and actually outdoor living business as a whole, as a fashion business. So each year when you go to your garden center or your store where you get this type of product, I'm thinking the ladies want to see something new like they do fashion and everything else. So I have to create that stuff. And quite frankly, it's very difficult, but at the same time, it's the most rewarding and the most fun thing I do. But I do challenge myself. And I use it not just the way the pot looks, I use it by color, I use it by techniques and texture and stuff. So you'll see some that are just a simple pot with nothing on it. And then you'll see some here with, I call this our volcanic collection, because it's actually two different glazes applied 2 different times. So we'll put a real fine finished glaze on the bottom, and then with this other one, it doesn't look like it, but it actually comes on like a glaze. But once we cook it, it kind of gives it this lava type look, like it's falling down on the pot. This particular color with the glaze is beautiful. This particular color by itself is beautiful, but when you combine it, it kind of gives you that old world look, as well as kind of the modern glassy finish. And the other thing is, when I'm doing some of the standard pots, that could be an egg pot or in just traditional looks and shapes, I try to separate ourselves by our finishes. What we do is we actually have some big, huge equipment when we take our soils or clays and we mix it up. We have 3 different types of clay. We put it into a big rock tumbler and tumble it all together, fill it full of water, and just kind of liquefy it all. And then once it's liquefied, we actually send it through a tube into another piece of equipment that shakes and pulls and takes out all of those impurities. Because the impurities in the clay, when you put it in a fire, is what normally just kind of pops out onto the outside. So if you don't get all of that out, you'll see pot marks and imperfections and stuff in the glaze. I want ours, if it says Michael Carr Designs on it, I want it to look like a piece of glass, right? And that's important. We go to all those extra steps. It's not cheaper to do it that way, but I think if you're going to have a piece that's going to last for years and years and years at your home, you want it to be special. And that's what we try to do. As I've said in the past many times, that I charge myself with having to create new looks, new designs, new colors, new textures, anything to create more excitement from year to year. And so when ladies come back in the store the next season, I don't want them to see the same thing. Now, we'll have the same things because there are some that just are traditional and just sell well year after year after year. Even so, we need some new things. And this is a particular item. Again, I use two different methods. One has higher design on the product, and the one is more of a classic traditional piece that's very smooth on the finish. But as you can see here, my goal is to always keep it perfectly smooth, glass-like, so that the piece itself looks top-end instead of having little pit marks and imperfections that are coming out of the clay when we cook this product. Several years ago, I had a customer come to me and said, hey, can you come up with a white? Because everything I see in this type of product from everyone else is kind of a smoky white. I said, I'll give it the best shot I can. And I worked for 2 years on that thing, because glazes are not Pantone colors where you go to the paint store and order it, right? We actually have 12 to 14 different ingredients that make up our recipes for the clay. Different ways that you crush it and mix it together and who gets what. That's just one part of it. There's different ways to apply that glaze on the product, and then at the time you put it in the oven, the kiln, it gets up to 2,300 degrees, but does it get up to 23 fast? Does it go slow? And then once you get it to the top, how long does it stay? And then how quick do you get back down to when you can open the kiln? All of that is part of the process. So we work really, really hard to come up with the best looking colors, shapes, and things like that. So you see this white, it's not an accident, right? It's a beautiful piece. Even when I have this smooth classic shape, now we have to figure things out. This is a new one I just created, and I call it the full figured design, because what I did is I actually took the edges and then I kind of circled out a little bit. It gives us more place for soil. So it gives us more space in the top to get more plants in it. It gives us right in here where the roots are, you know, especially with annuals and stuff. They're gonna really put the roots down in here. It just gives it not only a great looking piece, but it also is healthy for the plants. Okay, what else can I do with this particular style? The next step I did is I actually stretched it out. It made it taller to get more height when you put it up next to poles or something when you want a vertical look. And then I look back at that thing and say, well, okay, what else can we do? So then we apply other elements. This one, what I did is I elongated it, made it taller. You got to really think to make something different that's not been out there in thousands of years, right? So in this particular one, I added a base down here to kind of give it a footing, and then I added a top with a rim. It just kind of frames the whole piece with this top and the bottom. And in this particular one, I took that beautiful white glaze and I added that volcanic look to the top. Basically, we cooked this other glaze. It looks very rustic, very lava-like. And so what this does, it gives it a contrasting view with the white, the glazed white, with the rustic top. It just kind of gives it an old world look, so you kind of get a lot of both. And this is a very popular look right now. In this particular item right here, I've taken our elongated, full-figured planter that we showed earlier, and then I've taken it where it was just a classic smooth piece, and then I've added this design element here, just ribbed this. And again, it looks like a different pot. It's a gorgeous pot, it's an elegant pot, but it looks different, totally different from that classic smooth finish. And that's kind of how we do things. We take a standard piece, we develop that, and then we try to change different design elements with it. We do it in multiple colors. This particular piece comes in a red, it comes in a cobalt blue, it comes in a creamy color, we do it in a glossy black. So I think we do it in 10 or 11, 12 colors. And then you have all these changes, and it just gives everybody options to be a little bit different. I've always thought you give different options for people. So that's kind of the thought process as I go when I'm trying to design several hundred new looks every year. Right now I have one of our classic new styles with the smooth finish, not a lot of design element. I've got the foot at the bottom. I've kind of framed the design here with the foot at the bottom and the rim on the top. This is one we call matte black. People might call it a gunmetal color. Either way, it's a flat finish as opposed to the shiny glaze. And what I wanted to show you here is, I'm sure you can see it, we actually put our branded name in the front. Because we want people to know where this particular piece comes from. And that came from years ago when I was speaking to some customers. They said, well, a pot is a pot. These are different. There's a lot more work goes involved because we want to take it to the top level, even if it's the smooth finish, if it's the colors, if it's the actual design, the differences that the tweaks we put in it to make it kind of a trendsetter that rather than copying somebody else's design. That's who we want to be. And then I noticed in certain garden centers and all that may buy from multiple people, sometimes they just throw them all out there in the yard or something and they're just all cluttered together. So I thought that was kind of important. I need people to know where the Michael Carr design pieces are if they see this on media or marketing and things like that and they go in and ask for a Michael Carr pot. So I put this here, one, to set it apart from all the others so they see this one, it really pops and stands out. I want them to know it's a Michael Carr Designs piece, not just any old pot that somebody's bought off a shelf in a factory overseas. I actually design all these pieces. I actually am the person still that makes the comments and makes the tweaks and looks at every one before it goes on. So I just think it's important that people know when they're getting a Michael Carr design pot, and that's why we put this logo on the piece so people can actually know that when they're shopping.